Hey everyone, welcome to another CBC resource where we seek to take a topic relevant to understanding faith, break it down in a very easy to understand way so that it can be a blessing and assistance as we seek to grow. Today we're looking at the four gospels. In another resource video, we did an overview of the genre of the gospels, but we referenced that they're written by four different people to four different predominant audiences and therefore with four different focuses. And so we want to look at each of those gospels today, starting with Matthew, the first one we see in the Bible. Matthew was written largely and mainly to a Jewish audience, and so he gives most of his focus to establishing Jesus as the coming king, as the prophesied Messiah. So you'll see a lot more references to Old Testament prophecies than the other Gospels. You'll see a lot more reference to Jewish law, Jewish custom, Jewish culture than the other Gospels. It's not written chronologically, it's not written in sequential order. Instead, Matthew chooses to focus on five main discourses. And what gives Matthew his unique perspective in all these is he is one of the apostles. He was one of the 12 who was with Jesus. And so he was there to experience and record Jesus's ministry for us. And that is the incredible account of Matthew. And so after Matthew, we have the Gospel of Mark. Mark was written largely to Roman Christians, especially Gentile Roman Christians. His emphasis is really on Jesus' humanity and his deeds. You'll see him talk about Jesus as the servant of God for a large part of his account. Now, Mark is not writing what he experienced like Matthew was. Mark is writing what he was taught by Peter, who was one of his apostles. And so you have that unique variation on the perspective of this account as well. The other thing to understand about the book of Mark as you read through it is it's very action oriented, which goes back to his focus on Jesus's humanity and his deeds during his time on earth. And so one of the things to look for as you read through Mark and as you seek to understand it, make note of how often he uses the word immediately or draws attention rather to the urgency of Jesus's earthly ministry. But that's the book of Mark. So after Mark, we have the Gospel of Luke. Luke, again, just like Mark, not writing what he experienced firsthand, but he was taught, this time by Paul. Luke's focus in his gospel, it's for the outcast. That is his primary audience, the people who felt rejected by society, the people who felt cast off by society. And so given that, it's no wonder that Luke really presents just the universal necessity of a savior and the universal offering of Jesus for all people. Jesus as Redeemer of all people. It's designed to connect with the people who have felt abandoned and rejected by everyone else. Hey, Jesus is for you, is what Luke is writing. He is the most scholarly and detailed of all the Gospels, which makes sense. He was a doctor, and so that would have been how he was trained and taught and operated. A massive part of Luke is given towards Jesus's approach of the cross. You've got 10 chapters in the Gospel of Luke that really focus on the very minute and specific details of that last week or so of Jesus's life as he is saying, I choose this. This is my decision to lay down my life on the cross. And again, that ties back to the heart that Luke is bringing to the gospel account of, look, I know you feel cast off by everyone else, but Christ came for you. He loves you. And that's the beautiful message in Luke. And then finally, we come to the Gospel of John. Most biblical historians agree John was written last after the other ones and was written in light of, with an awareness of the other Gospels as well. So you'll see John really beautifully complement and supplement the first three. Like Matthew, John was writing what he experienced. He was one of the apostles, and so he was there with Jesus seeing this for himself. What's unique about John is it's not written with any one audience in mind, and that's because John is the most theologically focused of the four Gospels. You'll see the most explanation of what to believe about Christ and what to believe about faith within the Gospel of John. Look for both evangelism and apologetics. Hey, here's a call to the unbeliever. Here's training in proper doctrine for the believer. Look for the phrase know and believe in the Gospel of John to really understand his heart as he presents his account of Christ's ministry on this earth. But that's the fourth and final gospel. So those are the four gospels. Now, obviously, as we filmed each of those, I was moving throughout the space. Why? Well, because that's what the four gospels do. I never left this room. The focus, the space was the same, but the perspective was slightly different each time. That's what Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John do for us. The focus is Christ. The space is the same as earthly ministry. But by giving us a slightly different perspective in each one, we get a much richer and fuller picture and understanding of who he was and what his time on earth accomplished and taught. And that's why it's so much fun having all four of them to study together individually and as a whole. We hope this was a blessing and encouragement, and this helps you grow. May God be glorified. We'll see you next time.